Today we are going to look at the fascinating stock that is getting everyone on their knees, and that is Palantir. The stock has had a rough stretch recently, and I get why so many people are nervous. When one of your favorite names pulls back, it's never fun, and right now a lot of investors are asking the same question. Is this the end of the Palantir story, or is this just another phase in a much bigger journey? And before we even get into Michael Barry, let's get into the market. And before we get also into some arguments around Palantir, I want to do this first. Zoom out. When in doubt, please zoom out. Because if you zoom out on Palantir, the picture changes fast. The stock is still trading at around 135 with a market cap of around 350. And it still carries a very rich valuation with a forward PE near 97 and a trailing PE above 153. This is not a sleepy stock. This is one of the market's most aggressively priced AI names. And that is exactly why everybody keeps talking about it. And please, if you like the video, please like, share, and subscribe for more like this. Now, let's continue. Now, over the past year and over the past few years, long-term holders are still in a very good position. Palantir has had a massive multi-year run, and the recent pullback does not change the fact that this is still one of the most important AI stories in the market. And this is why I keep saying almost similar things. Long-term investors should look outside the box, because if they panic, then they're in trouble. Reuters has also noted that Palantir has delivered enormous gains over the past several years, even as the stock continues to swing hard with sentiment. So if you're nervous about Palantir right now, if you're unsure what's going on, if you need guidance and some understanding of why the stock is pulling back and what is happening and why I'm still constructive on the stock, then you came into the right place. So I will not be talking about gut feelings. I will not be talking about emotions, and I will not be talking about random situations. But I'm going to be talking about Palantir with data and numbers, because criticism should be allowed to exist, and that's especially true with Palantir. So first and foremost, why should you not be upset about Michael Barry? A few reasons. Number one, I should not believe we should exist in an echo chamber. It is okay to have different opinions, but it's okay to have contrarian views. It is okay also to have bears in the market, but if everybody thought the same, it would be a very boring world. And as a person who wants to be an investor, you should actually enjoy hearing opinions that disagree with yours. And as long as they are respectful and well put together, you should hear them. Number two, you should appreciate what he's doing, because it gives long-term believers a chance to buy Palantir at a lower price. And a bearish headline from someone like Barry's reputation can absolutely shake the market and the stock, and that's what creates opportunities for patient investors. So whenever a stock drops, the first question I ask myself is very simple. Is this drop company related, or is it just a market noise? That question matters, because if the business is actually deteriorating, that is one thing. But if the business is still growing while the stock is falling, that is a totally different setup. And this is where the current Palantir debate gets interesting. What would we expect to see if the bear case was right? And what would expect to see revenue growth slow down? Would we expect to see the margins compress? Would we expect to see the free cash flow weaken? Would we expect to see customers leaving? Would we expect to see weaker guidance? And would we expect to see the company lose some of its operating momentum? But that is not what the latest numbers show. In fact, in 2026 Q1, Palantir reported 1.63 billion in revenue, up 85% year-over-year, and US revenue grew 104%. US commercial revenue rose 133%, US government revenue increased 84%, and management raised its full year 2026 revenue guidance to 7.66 billion, with US commercial revenue now expected to grow at least 120% for the year. Company also reported a very good net dollar retention of 150%. So if the business is getting destroyed, that's not what these numbers look like. If anything, the numbers say the opposite. Revenue growth is still very strong, commercial traction is still very strong, government demand is still very strong, and the company is still raising guidance. If you are enjoying such analysis, please like, share, and subscribe. So this is why I do not think the bear case is as simple as people want it to be. Now let me talk about what else is coming in the anthropic argument, because this is another thing people keep bringing up. Some people are trying to argue that Anthropic or other AI-related native tools will somehow take Palantir's business, and my honest view is that analogy is way too simplistic. Like a small spoon cannot be used to dig a big hole. So that does not mean that a good substitute can be a good professional farmer. Yes, you can use a big spoon, but you technically get the job done. But after how long and how fast and how efficient is it for you to get a spoon and begin extracting and making a hole? Now, that's how I would think about Palantir versus Anthropic debate. They are not necessarily doing the same job at the same scale. Palantir is trying to become the software layer that helps organizations integrate data, decisions, and operations inside real workflows. And this is very different business model than just saying we are AI. And that's why I think a lot of panic around the disruption argument is overstated. And what does all this mean? It means we need to separate the stock from the business. And right now, the stock is under pressure. The business is still growing. And if that is the case, then you have a situation where price and fundamentals are moving in different directions. And that is exactly the kind of setup long-term investors should pay attention to. Because if Michael Barr is wrong, then what we have right now is a declining stock price and a rising business. And if that is the case, that is the type of situation you want to study very carefully. And I'm not saying that Palantir is risk-free. It is not. There is still a highly valued stock, and the market is still pricing in a lot of future success. And that is the part that we need to know. Palantir can absolutely remain volatile, and that volatility is not the same thing as broken fundamentals, and that is the key distinction. When I look at the balance sheet, revenue growth, margin expansion, free cash flow, customer retention, and raised guidance, I do not see a company that is falling apart. I see a company that is still executing. Stock that is being hit by fear, skepticism, and a little high bar. And those are not the same thing. That is why, for a long-term perspective, I think Palantir deserves respect. And that is why I think investors should not make emotional decisions here. The right question is not, is the stock down? The right question is the business still getting better? And right now the answer appears to be yes. And so, yes, the stock has been pulled back, and yes, there is fear in the market. Yes, there is a loud bearish narrative, but the actual business continues to show strong growth, strong margins, strong retention, and strong guidance.